Hello everyone and welcome to Kiko Pup's dog training tip of the day for today. Today I'm going to give you a tip for teaching your dog to roll over. Now it's extremely important not to ask your dog to roll over after they've had a lot to drink or a lot to eat, because what can happen is the stomach can twist and it's a really serious medical condition that you have to go to the hospital to get them to twist the stomach back. So be very careful. If you're worried or your dog has a tendency for bloat to happen, then I suggest that you don't work on this trick and instead you could work on just the dog. He said, I'm going to work on crawl because that's what we just did for the members video. But I suggest teaching the dog just to lay on their side instead of roll all the way over. Okay, so, whoops, I keep dropping treats. Get it. So the first step is actually getting the dog to tuck their elbow in. So I'm going to have him go the opposite direction. Now if I lure him this way, this elbow is going to stick out and make it unable for me to lure him over like that. So what I'm going to do is try and get him to tuck his elbow and mark that moment. So I'm marking him laying on his elbow. And if a dog is uncomfortable with having a treat pushed into them like that, they most likely aren't going to roll onto their elbow like that, because then they're in a position where they're kind of trapped underneath you. So I suggest doing this at a distance without like leaning over your dog and choosing a surface they feel really comfortable with a lot of traction. You might even use a cushier surface at first to get that initial behavior of the elbow tuck. And that might just be what you do in the first 1 or 2 lessons, especially if you have a dog that's not very comfortable with being on their back. So you're just getting the dog to tuck their elbow. The next step is, is to get the dog on their side like this, and that could be where you end if you're worried about having your dog go all the way over. But then once the dog is on the side, you can then lift the treat up, and you can even support the dog. Did you see how his legs were kind of flailing? You can put your hand there and let the dog use you for support. And I'm not going to use a clicker at this point, but you can let your dog use you as support. You're not pushing your dog over. You're just letting your hand help the dog as a support so they don't feel like their paws are just flailing in the air. Woo! And then when the dog gets better at it, I'm going to mark the elbow tuck going onto the side and then all the way over. I didn't mark. I just was telling you when to mark. Hi! It can be very tempting while you're in this process when the dog starts to offer something really cute like bang, like they play dead or something like that. So it's really important to decide which you want to train first. I suggest training rollover both ways and then training the behavior where you say bang, just because it's hard, like with a movement behavior. I think it's harder to train the dog going on their back and stopping and then turn that into a movement than to turn a movement into going only halfway. But that's just superstition. Okay, so once the dog is reliably following the lure, go get it. And also, did you see how he was, I want him to roll the other way because this chair's in the way, and I got him up because he had tucked himself the opposite direction. So I'm going to have him roll towards you. Whoop. Good. So first I'm going to have the treat right near his face, and then I'm going to get him used to the treat getting further away from him. So to initially get the behavior started, the treat's going to be near him, and then I'm going to start to not have a treat in my hand every time, or try holding my hand further and further away. You can see we did experiment with dying, with bang. Get it, over here. And to get the dog to continue moving, I'm just going to say get it and put the treat down and get him interested, because he could get stuck thinking that was a fun behavior. Good boy. Woo. Get it. Now I'm going to add a verbal cue, so I'm just going to say it before I lure the dog. So I'm going to say down, give him a treat, and then this direction for me is roll, and the other is tumble. So I'm going to say down, roll. Woo! Good job. Down, roll. Get it. Down, tumble. Good boy. And we'll stop there. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support my work, don't forget to like this video, leave me a comment, and you can also subscribe to the channel or become a member of channel Kiko Pup and support the videos that I make by clicking the join button. See you later.